What was meant to be a quiet finale to a deeply personal world tour became a moment that stopped the K-pop industry in its tracks. After Jin BTS posted a handwritten letter addressed to ARMY, filled with raw emotions and humble gratitude, fans around the globe cried. But they weren't the only ones. Bang Si-hyuk, the visionary founder of Big Hit Entertainment and the very man who scouted Jin more than a decade ago, reportedly broke down in tears after reading the letter that surfaced during the final night of Si-hyuk tour. "I seriously don't feel like I deserve all the love I get. That's why I'm always thinking about how I can give back for all the love you fans show me." Seokjin, in Jin's thoughts, 3 September 2025, that single line, so simple, so painfully honest, was what reportedly shattered Bang PD, according to a senior HYB executive who was present in the viewing room when the letter was first shown to the internal team. He just held the paper and stared for a long time. Then he whispered, "He still doesn't know, does he? He still doesn't see how much he means to all of us." And then he cried. The source revealed. Bang Si-hyuk, who has remained largely behind the scenes throughout BTS's solo eras, made a rare public appearance later that night in Seoul for a closed HYB staff gathering, where he addressed the letter in a quiet, emotional speech. "When I first saw Jin during the auditions, I didn't choose him for his dance or his singing. I chose him because he looked at me and I saw kindness. I saw something I couldn't teach. And today, more than 10 years later, that kindness has built something the rest of us could only hope to reach." He went on to describe Seokjin as the most emotional project ever born from BTS, and admitted that Jin's sincerity often went underappreciated in the early days. While others shouted, Jin stayed silent. While others ran forward, he stayed back to hold the others. But now he's run. And he's run farther than anyone expected. The room, according to multiple HYB staffers, was silent, filled with teary eyes, including younger idols who had long looked up to Jin as a quiet role model. What hit Bang Si-hyuk the hardest wasn't the numbers. Not the sold-out stadiums or viral performances. It was the fact that even after healing millions, Jin still wrote, "I don't feel like I deserve all the love I get. How can someone so beloved still feel unworthy?" Bang Si-hyuk reportedly asked. Maybe because he was never in this to be worshipped. He was here to give. And that is why he's receiving everything now. In a rare move, Bang also reportedly requested that the original handwritten letter by Jin be framed and preserved in the HYB Museum in Seoul as part of an upcoming exhibit titled "The Heart of BTS." The letter, now known unofficially among fans as "The Night Jakarta Wept," has also become the subject of analysis in fan forums and emotional essays. But to Bang Si-hyuk, the meaning is simple. This letter isn't just a thank you. It's Jin's legacy in ink. He gave us laughter. He gave us healing. And now, he's giving us permission to finally see him, not as a shadow behind BTS, but as the light that kept it whole. And as the founder wiped his eyes at the end of his speech, he ended with a final sentence. He says he'll keep working hard to repay the love, but truthfully, Seokjin, you've already given more than enough. The room applauded, slowly, quietly, reverently, and somewhere, thousands of miles away, Jin bowed at the end of his concert in Jakarta, still unaware of just how many lives his voice had touched. Even the man who built BTS couldn't hold back the tears, because finally, the world isn't just listening to Jin, it's feeling him. The ripples from Jin's emotional handwritten letter during the final night of Seokjin didn't stop with fans, or even with Bang Si-hyuk. They reached deeper, into the hearts of HYB's youngest generation of idols, many of whom had never spoken publicly about their emotional struggles until now. And it all started with a sentence. "I seriously don't feel like I deserve all the love I get." Jin BTS, Jin's THTS to the world. It was a moment of heartbreak, but to those within the system, the new trainees, the rookie idols, the artists juggling their place in a hyper-competitive world, it was something more to IT was permission. Permission to admit what they were too scared to say. Permission to be vulnerable. Within 48 hours of the letter going viral, a private gathering of HYB trainees was held in their Seoul headquarters. According to internal sources, it was originally intended as a routine emotional wellness check-in. But what unfolded was anything but routine. One young trainee reportedly stood up and said, "If someone like Jin Hyung can feel like he's not enough, then maybe I'm not crazy for feeling like that too." What followed was hours of tears, confessions, and breakthroughs. Trainees who had masked their anxiety finally felt seen. Junior idols who had struggled with self-doubt said they no longer felt ashamed, and all of it stemmed from one letter, written in Jin's humble, unsure handwriting, as if he didn't know the weight his words carried. The youngest member of rookie group Cordis, under HYB subsidiary ADOR, shared his thoughts anonymously through a fan message board. "We always talk about strength, discipline, and showing no cracks. But when I saw Jin Hyung's letter, I realized the bravest thing isn't pretending you're okay. It's admitting when you're not. That's strength too. Maybe even stronger." Another member from Ellie Seraphim reportedly brought up the letter during vocal practice and said, "We always say I love you to fans, but do we say it to ourselves?" Jin Nappa's words made me realize I haven't. Not once. These quiet admissions have sparked a movement within HYB, internally nicknamed the Seokjin effect. Workshops on emotional health, once poorly attended, are now full. Trainees request to study Jin's lyrics during songwriting sessions. One young dancer reportedly wrote, "You deserve it," too, on her mirror in red marker, an echo of the fan movement that followed the letter's release. But perhaps the most moving moment came from Trainee a group once on indefinite hiatus. In a rare blog post on their hidden training journal, a member wrote, "We used to think being perfect meant being strong. But Hyung showed us that being soft, being unsure, being real is what makes people fall in love with you. I want to be that kind of artist now, because of him." For Jin, the letter may have been just a quiet thank you, but for those behind the cameras, behind the rehearsals, behind the pressure, it was a lighthouse, and Bang Si-hyuk knows it. Sources reveal he's now in talks with Jin to create a short docuseries for HYB trainees and young idols, tentatively titled "Love Yourself, Too." Letters from Jin, a collection of personal thoughts, voice messages, and handwritten reflections from Jin. Not about fame, but about healing, humility, and holding on. In the world of entertainment that often breaks the very people it puts on pedestals, Jin didn't just survive, he led. And now, the youngest in HYB are following, not to be him, but to be okay being themselves. Because if Jin, the gentle, humble, trembling soul who conquered stadiums, could doubt his worth and still rise, then maybe they can too. In an industry long dominated by precision, image, and the relentless pursuit of perfection, one man's quiet vulnerability has done what countless chart-topping hits and viral choreographies could not: spark a cultural shift from performance to presence. They're calling it the Seokjin effect. And it's not a marketing campaign, it's a movement. IT began with a letter, a scribbled note, trembling with humility. But what followed wasn't just global fan hysteria. It was institutional introspection. Jin's words, "I seriously don't feel like I deserve all the love I get," rattled not only the ARMY community, but the very foundations of the K-pop engine itself. And now, slowly but surely, the walls are beginning to crack, in the best way. Agencies are listening behind closed doors in Seoul. Multiple entertainment companies, not just HYB, have begun reassessing how they train, promote, and emotionally support their artists. According to insider reports, at least 3 rival agencies have requested viewings of Jin's RUSA documentation as case studies, not for production ideas, but to study how emotional storytelling resonated more deeply than spectacle. One senior executive from an SM Entertainment affiliate, speaking anonymously, admitted, "We built a machine. Jin reminded us there's a heart inside it." Even JYP Entertainment, known for its rigorous trainee structure, has begun incorporating Jin's lyrics into reflection exercises for its youngest trainees. A staff note obtained by K-media outlet K-Star Dep stated, "We will explore Epiphany not just as a song, but as a case of self-awareness and authenticity." Labels are rewriting their blueprints, and our teams are reportedly shifting their focus. Where once they scouted for charisma, virality, and aggressive appeal, now they're asking, can this artist connect without the noise? Can they write like Jin? Can they stand still, say nothing, and still make you cry? For the first time, labels are considering emotional resonance as a metric of value. And that's because of Jin. Songwriters are tuning into silence. Younger songwriters at HYB and beyond are now pulling inspiration not from club beats or trending sounds, but from Jin's restraint.